If you're a beginner chess player eager to enhance your opening game, you have come to the right place. In this video, we'll dive into the world of chess openings, providing you with essential strategies and tips to help you start your games with confidence and precision. Get ready to elevate your chess skills as we unlock the secrets to successful opening play. The first concept that I would like to introduce you to is the concept of space advantage. It refers to having pawns more advanced than your opponents on one part of the board, the center in this case. Why is this better for white? Well, essentially the pawns over here are going to shield the white's bishops and knights in the central positions. So white can comfortably develop the knights to c3 and f3, as well as the bishops to active squares in the middle, while being protected from opponent's pawns by the red pawns d4 and e4. For black, on the other hand, it's going to be much harder to centralize their bishops and knights, and even if they do develop to the middle, like for example knight f6, at any moment white has an option to play e5 and further kicking away the knight from the middle. At the same time, we could observe a position like this, which would be misevaluated by a lot of players. Here, white has no advantage at all. You see, the rooks, they only care about lines, semi-open files, or ranks. And here, white's rooks don't have higher potential than the black's rooks. There is no principle that says rooks want to be in the center. As I've mentioned, they only care about open lines. Now let's observe the queens. Black's queen has so much activity that she could generate, for example, queen f6, queen g5, queen h4, c6, queen b6, queen e5. There's no way that the white's pawns in the center are going to be restricting the black's queen enough to make it a passive piece. So that means that white's queen and rooks don't have higher potential than the black's rooks and queen. So you see, when we're having more space or space advantage, the more minor pieces we're exchanging, the less of a chance that we could capitalize on that. That is the reason why most openings are starting with the pawns to the center first, and then we're developing the pieces onto the safe central squares. The next concept that I would like to introduce you to is the concept of when to open up the position. A lot of times you could find yourself in a comfortable and good position, but you may not have the so-called lead in development. If you look right now, black has only one piece developed, while white has castle and has three minor pieces out. The position is not great for white. However, if black doesn't understand how to capitalize on their advantage, which is here to develop the pieces and castle, and instead, if they go for a move like d5, which looks to win more central control and space, they would make a disastrous mistake. Opening up the position in chess refers to exchanging the pawns, and that's where interactions between pieces occur on a much more intense level. That always benefits the side with more active, more developed army. So this cunning-looking move d5 is actually a terrible blunder. Once white is opening up the position, you can notice how white's pieces are going to start taking the initiative against you. You're very undeveloped, and white is going to punish you. In the game, what happened was bishop b7, rook e1, and after knight f6, terrible blunder, bishop b5 checkmated the black's king. So what should have black done instead is, realizing that they're behind in development, continue to play with simply pieces out, castling, and then at that point, when they're fully developed, they can consider about opening up the position. The next tip is not to waste too many tempi. This is a beginner game where white was my student, who have had a few classes with me, and black is just a random beginner player online. And you can see that very soon black's queen is going to lose a lot of tempi. She's going to have to move many times, while white is improving their position. White is making the pieces better. White is centralizing their knights and bishops. White is hitting the queen many times while grabbing space advantage as well. And this is giving white amazing tactical opportunities. This is a bit ridiculous example, but it really did happen. And the black's queen is simply getting trapped at the end. I see again and again how people are moving the same piece twice, 3 times, 4 times in the opening, especially the queen, and then they simply get behind in development, and this gives tactical opportunities to their opponents. It is fine to move the same piece twice in the opening if you have a good reason for it. For example, you can prevent your opponent from castling, or you're damaging your opponent's pawn structure, you have to defend, or you're having a combination to win material. The last tip that I would like to give you is castle prophylactically. I always give my student the analogy of why do you lock your door at night? It's prophylactic, right? You don't just lock your door when you see thieves outside the door. So we do it prophylactically in chess as well. In this game, a very experienced player with the black pieces decided not to castle on the last move, and there's a very beautiful punishment, d5, to open up the center and try to attack the black's king right in the middle of the board. Now, this works because the e-pawn is pinned, because the black's king hasn't castled. So what we're threatening right now is to take over here, and then the bishop is going to be hanging at the same time. So in the game, black took on d5, white took again, and here we're threatening to take the knight on f6 with the check and win the bishop on d6. In the game, black simply played knight takes d5, here white played bishop takes d5, and once again we have this double threat of bishop b7 as well as queen takes d6 as a follow-up, and black is unfortunately losing a piece. Once again, queen takes d5 is simply losing the material due to this pin. If you enjoyed the video, consider hiring me as your personal online chess coach. I'll be waiting for your email. Thank you for watching and see you in the next lesson.